Здравейте, казвам се Надя Михайлова и съм преподавател по английски език. Днешното видео ще бъде от поредицата видеа, които са свързани с матурите, ниво B1.1 или за всички, които изучават английски като втори чужд език. И в частност съм се спряла на последния компонент за четене, който е с отворени въпроси, защото в моята практика съм разбрала, че това е нещото, което затруднява най-много учениците, а то изобщо не е трудно. Първо трябва много внимателно да прочетем текста за четене, като вникнем в него, разбира се, и след това да прочетем внимателно въпросите. На всеки един въпрос се присъждат по 2 точки, което означава, че той е двукомпонентен, т.е. той пита във всеки един въпрос се съдържат 2 неща, които трябва да отговорите. Той е двукомпонентен. Има 2 неща, които трябва да запишете като отговор. Това е по-често срещано. Сега, много от вас допускат грешката да вземат директно няколко изречения от текста и да ги сложат и смятат, че с това са отговорили на въпроса. Не, това, което ви съветвам да направите е по някакъв начин да перефразирате, да извадите само есенцията, това, което ви трябва и да го сложите като отговор, без да преписвате целия параграф, защото това също ще ви отнеме точки. Прекалено многото информация, която не се изисква, също взима точки. Понякога пък отговора на въпроса касае целият текст или цял параграф, т.е. няма изречение, което да съдържа отговора, тогава вие тук си изследва това дали ученика може да вземе есенцията от това, което е почел и дали го е разбрал и със свои думи да трябва да отговори. Така, това са насоките, които давам. Хайде сега да разгледаме един текст. Аз съм си подготвила тук от реално ЕЗИК. Мисля, че това е от поправителна сесия. Текста се казва No more fish and chips. Така, ето вижте сега отгоре какво пише. Read the text below, then read the questions that follow it and answer each question with a sentence of your own. Трябва да отговориме с наше собствено изречение. Write your answers on your answer sheet. Sentences copied word for word from the text will get 0 points. Че изречения, които са буквално преписани от текста, ще получат 0 точки, това, което аз вече ви казах. Okay, let's read the text first and then we'll focus on the questions. When I was a young man, it was the sort of thing you'd have once or twice a week. Remembers 22-year-old Arthur Mowbray? 6 years ago, you'd get a full-size portion of fish and chips for 6 pence. It was cheap and good. Fish and chips was nourishing too. It was a proper meal that you could eat in the street on your way home from work or during the lunch break. Wrapped in newspaper, it could keep warm to the last chip, even on the coldest days of the year. Okay, тук може би е добре да запишем wrap, увивам. Wrap, увивам. What else can you have? Nourishing. Nourishing е хранителен, питателен. Nourishing. Хранителен, питателен. Proper meal. A regular one. A usual, traditional meal that you could eat in the street on your way home. It's nothing special. Or during the lunch break, wrapped in newspaper, it could keep warm to the last chip, even on the coldest days of the year. In the last quarter of the century, things have changed. Quarter е четвърт. It's not so popular with young people these days, says Lizzie, a teenager. Just a moment. Most of the time, if young people want to eat out, they will go for a hamburger or something like that, or a Chinese takeaway. Fish and chips is a bit of old-fashioned, really, I suppose, but there are still cheap shops around. We sometimes have it at home, and we go and get it from the cheap shop. It saves cooking. Save е спестявам в този случай. It saves cooking. Thousands of cheap shops, however, have closed in the last 25 years. Others have been turned into Chinese or Indian takeaways. Cheap shops have survived best in seaside towns where the fish is fresh and people have it more as a tradition than for any other reason. Yet, nothing perhaps can save the classic fish and chip shop from extinction. Extinction? Okay. Изчезване. Extinction. Изчезване. За вид се използва най-често. To be extinct е изчезнал за вид. Okay. People, wrapped British and fish and chips wrapped in newspaper is already just a memory of the past. British and European hygiene rules no longer allow food to be wrapped in old papers, so today's takeaway chip shops use new paper or styrofoam cartons. Of course, you can still eat fish and chips with your fingers if you want, but there are now plastic throwaway forks for those who don't want to get greasy fingers. Greasy and мазен. Let's write it down. The gradual disappearance. Gradual means step by step. Greasy, мазен. Of the traditional British fish and chip shops. The chips shop is therefore bound to continue. It's about to continue. Fish and chips, however, will survive as a specialty in pubs and restaurants and new stylish fish restaurants as well. Okay, great. So, question number 1. Why did people like fish and chips 60 years ago? And, of course, now you need to get back to the text. Why did people like fish and chips 60 years ago? Why? What was the reason? Okay. Because it was cheap. The answer is here. You would get a full-size portion of fish and chips for 6 pence. It was cheap and good. So these are your answers. Because it was cheap, good, and nourishing as well. And why? Another reason. So in the first paragraph you have cheap, good. In the second you have nourishing. And it is easily available. People can get it on their way home or their workplace for lunch. Okay, so what can we write here as an answer? Because it was cheap, good, nourishing, and people can get it easily in the street on their way back from work. That's the answer to our question. You can see it's a little bit modified and changed. And you can see that the answer is not in one or two sentences. Sometimes it comprises whole paragraphs. So you need to be really careful. Okay, what else do we have here as a second question? Question 32. What would a teenager prefer instead of fish and chips nowadays? Okay, so let's put the first answer here. Because it was good, cheap, nourishing, and available in the streets, for example. Okay, I think this would be enough. The second question, what would a teenager prefer instead of fish and chips nowadays? What would they prefer? Okay, let's find this. It's not so popular with young children, so it is in this paragraph that started with a quotation. Says Lizzie, a teenager, most of the time, if young people want to eat out, they will go for a hamburger or something like that, or a Chinese takeaway. Fish and chip is a bit old-fashioned, really, I suppose, but there are still cheap shops around. We sometimes have it at home, and we go and get it from the cheap shop. It saves cooking. So, what would a teenager prefer instead of fish and chips? Nowadays, they prefer hamburgers or a Chinese takeaway. Okay, so they prefer hamburgers or a Chinese takeaway. This is the answer to our question. They prefer hamburgers or Chinese takeaway. Okay. The next question. Why have fish and chip shops survive mostly in seaside towns? So you need to make sure that you understand the question. Защо такива магазини, които предлагат риба и картофки, са оцелели главно по морските курорти, да кажем, морските градчета? Защо? Let's find the answer to this question. Okay. Thousands of chip shops, however, have closed in the last 25 years. It is in this paragraph. Others have been turned into Chinese and Indian takeaways. Chip shops have survived best in seaside towns where the fish is fresh and people have it more as a tradition than any other season. So this is the answer to our question. The fish is fresh and people have it more as a tradition than for any other reason. Have survived because they sell fresh fish and people visit them as a tradition. This is a good answer to the question. Okay, to our question. Just a moment. Because why have fish and chips? Or you can have a full sentence. They have survived because they sell fresh fish. They sell fresh fish and people visit them as a tradition or as a habit, as a tradition. Okay, this is a pretty good answer. So this is the first part. They have survived because they sell fresh fish. This is the first reason. The second reason, people visit it as a tradition. That's why I say that usually, since these questions, the answer to these questions are given 2 points, you have 2 answers in one question. That's what I meant. Това е, което имах предвид преди малко, когато ви го казах. Okay, and let's have a look at 34 now. Why do today's takeaway chip shops use new paper or styrofoam cartons? Така, то не е стереопорен, ми това фолиото, което и се използва за фолиране на продукти. Yes, yet nothing perhaps can save the classic fish and chip shop from extinction. Fish and chips wrapped in newspaper is already just a memory of the past, so they don't do this anymore. British and European hygiene rules no longer allow food to be wrapped in old paper, so today's takeaway chip shops use new paper or styrofoam cartons. Of course, you can still eat fresh fish and chips with your fingers if you want, but there are now plastic throwaway forks for those who don't want to get greasy fingers. Okay, so why do today's fish and chip shops use new paper or styrofoam cartons? Because British and European hygiene rules no longer allow food to be wrapped in old paper. Yes, let's write it down. Because why? Because Just a moment. Sorry. Because British and European hygiene rules. Hygiene, this should be G, not D. Hygiene rules require or do not allow or require the use do not allow using old paper to wrap. Hygiene rules do not allow using old paper to wrap food. So this is pretty enough. This is more than enough as an answer. And it is transformed with our own words. It's paraphrased. It's not directly taken from the text. So that's what I meant by saying you need to transform the sentences and do not copy them from the text and put it as an answer. Okay, then what is the future of fish and chips in pubs and expensive fish restaurants? What is it? Let's see. So what is the future of fish and chips in pubs and expensive fish restaurants? Of course you can still eat fish. Yeah, okay, so it's in the very last paragraph. The gradual disappearance of the traditional British fish and chip shops is therefore bound to continue. So it is going on, this extinction. Fish and chips, however, will survive as a specialty in pubs and restaurants and in new stylish fish restaurants. So, what is the future? They will remain. Те ще останат. Okay. They will remain as specialty in pubs and restaurants and also in stylish new or in new stylish, if we want to put new, it should be here, new stylish expensive, if you want to put it, fish restaurants. Okay, that's it. These are the answers to our questions. So it's not that difficult, you just need to be careful when searching for the answers. And of course, read carefully the text and search throughout it. Okay, I think that's it for today. If you find the video useful, please subscribe to my channel and do not forget to hit the bell or like the video. You can also recommend it to your friends, and last but not least, good luck in your exam, guys. Bye, see you.